Here it is, everyone, the Gacha. The anime games where you get the premium currency by gameplay or credit card and gamble for digital characters. You've stumbled across videos for these. You've seen the news articles about spending on these. Or you are so invested, you are currently doing your dailies listening to me yap. With the monstrous boom this genre has had over the years, we now have every possible gameplay variation, from RPGs, rhythm games, Paris Fashion Week, to horse racing. You might be wondering to yourself, why do people spend so much on this? What do you even do in these games? And should I play these games? In this video, I will do my absolute best to sort of answer all these questions and sidetrack into something else. So what are gacha games anyways? Well, the phrase itself comes from gachapons, capsule toys dispensed from vending machines, the toys in this case being the characters and weapons for gameplay. As you play the game, completing quests and activities, you receive premium currency. You'd spend these on the gacha pulls. Each pull lets you try your luck against a pool of characters and items. As you'd imagine, we usually pull for the strongest or best looking characters. Often, these are just the same things. The chance per pull of getting what you want is usually pretty bad. We're talking 10% for something rare and 1% or lower for the target character. This is where, you guessed it, spending real life money comes in. The developers are kind enough to let us purchase the premium currency for more rolls. So with enough money, you can very much get everything you want in the game. Now that you have your shiny new character, you gotta do something aside from admiring. That's where the gameplay loop comes in. It's usually combat, be it a third-person action RPG with combos and character abilities, or strategy with tower defense or turn-based combat. To level up your characters and take on harder content, you gotta farm experience, leveling ingredients, and essential materials. Fortunately for the busy, and unfortunately for the addicted, this stuff is time-gated. You can usually only play so much each day with a regenerating stamina system, unless, you guessed it, you spend money to refill. Once you've farmed out gear and fully leveled your characters, there's the end game, the sweatiest activities. This is usually some kind of rotational challenge mode or roguelike with elite enemies and bosses. Sometimes they have weaknesses that are exploitable by the latest character you can gacha for. Depending on how well you perform, you can usually reap greater rewards, which typically means more gacha, but often it's neat things like title cards or cosmetics. Some games even have server-wide leaderboards so we know who is the best or richest player. To spice things up further, there's often limited time events. These can come with new stories and other goodies. To get the premium currency, we gotta play the limited time game mode, which are often a completely different game. There's doing DoorDash and taking pictures of your customers, Mario Party, Stimulation Clicker Game, and Monopoly. Sometimes these are fun, and other times, you're kind of wondering when you get to fight someone again. This part of the game is everyone's favorite, the homework. Dailies. So to keep everyone coming back, there's usually a bit of premium currency we can earn from doing various tasks each day. This is usually click this thing, buy this thing, fight this guy, drink Starbucks, or middle management where you send your characters out to mine for resources. So when you see someone clicking away on their phone in the middle of the day on some anime, they're probably just diligently doing assignments. Thankfully, to get us through all this clicking and tapping, there are the key selling points of the gacha games. That's right, the reason we are all here, the characters. Every variation, every permutation is possible. There's girl, insane girl. Why is there this giant folder that just says mother on it? Actual animals, furries, rich man, poor man. What is a himbo? And of course, inanimate objects. So you might be asking yourself, wait a second, is this just a way to fill every attraction niche on the market so the developers can sell more premium currency, whereby players use spending as a proxy to show their devotion to their digital fictional spouses? The narrative department would say these are complex and story-critical characters with unique backstories who players can become emotionally invested in or even connect with through their struggles in the story. The gameplay department would say the characters are feats of engineering, each possessing a diverse set of mechanics, inner character synergy, and complex strategies for players to master. The sales and marketing department sent us an image of the monthly earnings. Holy moly, that's a number. Speaking of the gameplay aspect, sometimes new characters fill unique damage, healing, or utility roles. Or instead, they do bonkers damage, be invisible, can stun enemies, have turrets, and be so insanely good that the developers might have had to balance the new stages around her. It really is a fine game of balance, which the developers do an outstanding job in, with even characters released on game launch being viable or completely ignored to ensure new gacha sales, and each release just power creeps the previous. In all these cases, the characters have to be doing something. Aside from existing, there's usually a story they take part in. I'm going to keep this vague and slightly inaccurate to avoid spoilers. Many games are RPGs, and RPGs usually have us saving the continent, planet, universe, local high school, or multiple dimensions. There's different ways we can go about this. Genshin Impact takes the players across different fictional nations in search of their lost twin. Each is based around a real-world country like Liyue with China, Inazuma with Japan, and Fontaine with France. Thanks to the developers' dedication and care, each region's mythology, characters, music, food, and aesthetic is well crafted and contributes heavily to the overarching plot and player experience. This could range from enemies and bosses embodying mythical creatures to in-game celebrations based around real-world holidays and customs. So that's the overarching plot, but the character-focused stories are often where things really shine. That expensive new guy or gal on the banner you can pull for, this new story segment is about them. In terms of direction, we can go many ways. We can do angst and despair, pure comedy, and literally just man wants to fight. Basically, whatever emotion you woke up with in the morning, there's a gacha for that. Thanks to the power of individual interpretation and internet telephone, there's often information that is completely wrong about a character or storyline. So much so, a character is basically a different person from what the writers have intended. Is this person evil or on our side? Honestly, whatever you feel like today, my guy, who's gonna stop you? Most stories are presented in visual novel form, so the dev team can produce a lot of content with preset animations while still maintaining a pretty understandable story flow. Of course, many developers recognize the modern player might just want to hit things, so have graciously implemented a skip button. This means there's a lot of people, like this video's narrator, who actually don't know what's going on. You can literally tell me your headcanon and I'll believe that came straight from the writing team. Anyways, even if the story requires a 12-page study guide to understand, there's something that every gacha game does an outstanding job in. I don't know how to do it, man. I don't think I've played one gacha game with bad music. There's every variety. Battle themes, ambiance, pop songs,
自由に羽ばたいてこの希望を装填して大丈夫このままさ私の手を取って今日という日を祝って笑って愛して光に
and everyone's favorite, human emotions. The quality is so high, there's even concerts in real life you can attend. They're mostly in Japan and China, but they very much exist. Dude, these tracks are way too jacked. I showed a family member, Rubia, this very emotional piece from Honkai Impact Third. They ended up adding it to their Spotify. At one point, they rented a car and asked the attendant to set up the Bluetooth. It just so happens this masterpiece was playing. The attendant had immaculate taste because the service quality goes into the stars. Oh yeah, many games get songs written by in-house producers or commissioned with famous artists. One game I think does this incredibly well is Project Sekai. Being a rhythm game, it has a combination of J-pop covers and pieces written specifically for the game. The commissioned songs are composed by famous Vocaloid artists like Deco27 and sung by a combination of the Vocaloids and voice actors of the game's characters. What's really incredible, beyond just how great the songs sound, is that the lyrics convey the story of the characters being presented, their struggles, wishes, and emotions. With the characters being musical units like bands and idol groups, the lyric distributions are typically with respect to how each character perceives themselves, their experiences, and in line with their personalities. The details are often down to the individual scenes in a chapter. All of this is done while being accessible to someone who hasn't played the games before. The mood of the songs also range from someone having the absolute best time of their lives to the biggest "that's rough buddy." Now you have all the ingredients for a game, it's time to give it a soul. Alright, let's discuss the best part of the game, the gacha. It can give the greatest dopamine hit of your life or make you think probability itself is waging war against you. It's hard to describe the absolute high of highs when you get 2 or 3 copies of your favorite character in a temple. It's a truly distinguished emotion in gaming. In terms of budgeting, there's the option of economically playing by relying completely on in-game rewards or minor monthly purchases. There's also the complete opposite, dropping thousands on every banner and getting 5 or 10 copies of the character to max everything out. Duplicate copies of characters usually means unlocking additional stats or powerful perks. In all cases, nothing really happens when you go above the limit. But that doesn't stop the trillionaires amongst us. Earlier in 2025, Honkai Star Rail released Casterus, yes, this purple girl here. And this one dude in China has truly invested. This man pulled 88 copies of her. The perk bonuses stop at 6 extra copies. The only place you can see this is in your inventory. Brother, with the pull economics of Star Rail and whatever ChatGPT felt like telling me when I was writing the script, that is 29,000 US dollars. That's like one whole Honda Civic or 18,000 packs of Skittles. That is actually mental. So doing this is usually for the mega rich, where cost is more of an aesthetic and spousal support is absolute. But how do gacha games make money off of the common man? Now there's some dark technologies employed to min-max player spending. I'll share a little with the class. Our favorite currencies are usually sold at a weird dollar to quantity ratio. Like this conversion just looks weird. Added to that, the amount of currency to do a pull is usually awkward to convert in bulk. Games often make this math non-trivial, so it's more difficult to assign a dollar value to your purchases. There's also double value first time buys, paid skins, mathematically sound monthly currency distributions, or just things here and there to get you to swipe your credit card for the first time. Of course, coveted characters can only be gacha'd at limited times, so the classic FOMO technique is always employed. Thankfully, to help with reduced spending, there's one odd thing that's often on the player's side. Believe it or not, it's time. Many games are first released in China or Japan and later arrive globally. This can take 1 to 2 years and often means the native servers are multiple banners ahead. It's common for developers to use the same character banner schedule once the global server takes off. This means characters' acquisition value and gacha availability are known ahead of time. Well, this works most of the time. Other times the devs have caught on and shuffled the release schedule to completely kaboom this method. It kind of depends on the game. Okay, now that the developers have their hands in our net worth, where does all this money go? So I can't really say if the money is going to yachts or private islands, but many games invest the money heavily back into the scene. This can manifest in the games themselves, improving animation like what we see with a year 1 versus year 3 animation in Honkai Star Rail. There's often art contests and streaming initiatives with prizes from the developers. With the aesthetic being anime, many games have shows or even movie adaptations with the same voice actors reprising their roles. Thanks to higher revenue and higher profile, many games bring collaborations with other big IPs. Some examples are Reverse 1999 with Assassin's Creed, Wuthering Waves with Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Arknights with Monster Hunter and Destiny, Punishing Grey Raven with Devil May Cry. Of course, there's the aforementioned concerts. There's also massive booths at anime conventions around the world. Often, there's collaborations with physical stores like restaurants and bubble tea shops for character-themed menu items and custom merch. Sometimes it's kind of wholesome. A youth education project in China was launched by MiHoYo, who named it after a beloved variant of their poster girl Kiana from Honkai Impact Third. During one college exam season in China, there were Arknights ads in taxis with words of encouragement for students about to take the Gaokao University entrance exam. But it's not just the developers and playing the game. There's almost always a dedicated community behind the beloved gachas. Thanks to many developers permitting open usage of their IPs, there's loads of community creations to enjoy. There's everything you can imagine. Gameplay guides, gacha streams, cosplays, fan animations. These range from wow, this is absolutely incredible. The colors and shapes are beautiful. I can't wait to show it to all my friends. To wow, this is absolutely incredible. The colors and shapes are beautiful. I can no longer open Twitter in public. There's also many discussion threads and debates in the comment sections of your favorite social media app. Some games are pretty chill and others are open PvP. So with all that, we have the big question. Should you play? I think it's worth a try. If you got the time and you want to get some good story, fun gameplay, gorgeous music, and dopamine, gachas are pretty fun in moderation. Most of the new popular games have a good new player experience. You can't really go wrong with starting with any you find interesting. If you're starting and the character you like got missed, not to worry, they'll usually come back eventually. For pulling characters, you can honestly just pull whoever you like or just pull the strongest. There might be YouTube thumbnails like this one that tell you gotta do this, you gotta do that. But it's not like the person is gonna walk into your room and close your computer if you pull on the no banner. At least I think that's how it works. Alright, that's all I got. See you later, bruh.